In an unprecedented deluge, New York City finds itself submerged. Relentless rain, torrential downpours, and flash floods have brought life in the city to a standstill. Streets have turned into lakes, subway stations into underwater caverns, and homes into islands. Join us as we dive into the chaos and resilience of a city facing an apocalyptic deluge in 2023. After a week of virtually constant rain, torrential downpours caused flash flooding in New York City, delaying subway service, flooding ground-floor residences, and turning some streets into miniature lakes. A sea lion at the Central Park Zoo was able to briefly escape the constraints of her pool habitat, thanks to the over 8 inches, 20 centimeters of rain that fell in certain areas of the country's most populous city. Before the storm system moved out to sea later on Friday, a few more inches might fall in the area, according to forecasters. On September 29, 2023, in the Brooklyn borough of New York City, someone tried to unclog a drain grate along a flooded Prospect Expressway after it became trapped in high water amid heavy rain and floods. Following this morning's intense rainstorms, a large portion of the Northeast is currently experiencing significant flooding. Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, issued a warning of life-threatening floods and proclaimed an emergency in New York City, Long Island, and the Hudson Valley. A small number of National Guard members were sent to help with the reaction. Emergency personnel utilized inflatable rafts to rescue residents in Mamaroneck, a suburb of the city in Westchester County, who were stranded in their homes due to flooding. According to the Metropolitan Transportation Agency, which runs both, flooding resulted in significant interruptions to the Metro-North commuter rail service and New York's subway system. Numerous stations were shuttered, and some subway lines were completely suspended. Certain bus routes slowed to a standstill, stranding passengers for hours. Some New Yorkers were advised by officials not to travel unless they were evacuating a flooded area. In many regions of the United States, including the New York City area, systems that produce severe rainfalls like the one on Friday have become more frequent. According to climate scientists, global warming has increased the frequency of extreme weather patterns across much of the globe. With 13.74 inches, 34.9 centimeters of rain falling during the month as of 11 a.m. on Friday, and more on the way, Dominic Rimuni, a National Weather Service forecaster, said the rain put an end to one of New York's wettest September on record. The record-breaking rainfall happened in September of 1882, measuring 16.82 inches, 42.72 centimeters. Rimuni stated, "I don't know if we'll break the record, but we'll be close." According to preliminary data cited by the New York office of the National Weather Service, it was the rainiest day at the city's John F. Kennedy International Airport since records began in 1948. The city's public schools were open for the day despite the warnings. Despite certain buildings being flooded, no activities were hampered, according to a district official. Because of the growing floods, at least one suburban district, Bronxville, just north of New York, dismissed students early. The elementary school that Patty Zhang, a 43-year-old social worker from New Hyde Park, New York City, and Nassau County, Long Island, shares with her 3 children, is only around the corner from her home. On Friday morning, the family braved the elements and walked to school. Millions of commuters' routes were disrupted as floodwaters stranded cars on streets and flooded subway stations. Mohammed Doha, a 52-year-old construction worker, splashed into his kitchen while wearing sandals. Mohammed Doha lives in The Hole, a low-lying wedge of blocks on the border between Brooklyn and Queens, in a ground-level, 2-bedroom flat. "We wouldn't have this issue if they had a proper drainage system like the other parts of the city," he remarked. "We are hurting a lot. A lot." Yaciel Ogando, a 38-year-old hospital employee who resides in The Hole with her family, claimed that the city failed to notify residents of the impending flooding. Some elected officials echoed her criticism. Some have compared it to the absence of alerts given in June before the poisonous smoke from wildfires in Canada that were migrating south arrived. Intermittent rain this week in New York further soaked the ground, creating the ideal environment for flash floods. The deluge of 2023 has left New York City facing a crisis of epic proportions, testing the mettle of its residents. As we continue to follow this unfolding story, stay informed about the latest updates by subscribing to our channel. Together, we'll navigate the challenges and resilience of a city submerged by nature's fury. Subscribe now to stay connected with New York City's journey through this apocalyptic deluge.